Welcome to this talk about diastasis recti and how we can support it in a yoga class. I'm Nadine O'Mara. So you may have heard of this term pronounced as diastasis recti or diastasis recti. Both are correct, it just depends on what part of the world you're from. And so in this talk, we'll be covering what is this condition. It's something that's very common during pregnancy and postnatally, as we'll discuss. How does it present? And how do we know someone has diastasis recti? You'll be also seeing in the following video how you can check yourself as a postnatal yoga teacher. What are the contraindications for diastasis recti? And what are the things that can actually make it worse? So we do need to be careful with our students when they come to yoga. And what are the things that we can do that can really help the healing of this issue? Let's get going.
Hi, I'm Anna Davis from Bliss Baby Yoga, and this is my abdominal awareness raising sequence appropriate for postpartum students approximately 6 to 9 weeks post-birth. For this practice, you'll need your yoga mat and your yoga block, or if you don't have a yoga block, you can substitute with like a small cushion or a rolled up blanket or towel. Now, it's a very subtle sequence that that works on developing the pelvic tilting movement and helping us connect with our deep abdominal muscles, because there's quite a disconnection post-birth, particularly in those early few months. So I want to start by just us becoming aware of our pelvic bowl, the front and back of our pelvic bowl. We're coming into constructive rest position. So this is where the feet are hip distance apart and parallel, and a comfortable distance from the buttocks, so not too close and not too far away. So a comfortable position, so it will support neutral spine, so where we're neither too arched through the lower back into lumbar lordosis or too tucked under. We just want to find a position where there's a sense of buoyancy through the pelvis, and you can bring your fingertips onto the pubic bone here, and that the pubic bone is not tipping up towards the ceiling too much or rolling down between the thighs towards the floor. There's a sense of a level pelvis, evenness through the pelvis.
So the puperian has been traditionally defined as the 6-week period immediately following the birth of a baby, and it represents the period of time in which maternal physiology, and in particular the reproductive system, is returning to its non-pregnant state. And traditionally it was known as a lying-in period because that most women would actually stay, in bed or limited and confined to a space for about 6 weeks. And that's because the time after childbirth is imbued with many social, cultural, and religious significance. And so in many cultures, the puerperal woman is given a special treatment. And this is important to take into consideration because it does take 6 weeks for the uterus to go back to its non-pregnant state, and a little bit longer after a cesarean section. So we need to really consider that the body is in a state of healing and the body is in a state of recovery. So in reality, the puerperium should be described as a transitional phase, a transitional phase from the pregnant state into the pre-pregnant state, when the uterus, the ovaries, and all of the reproductive system, including some of the other systems of the body which have changed during pregnancy, are going back to their pre-pregnant state.